What we're going to do today is take a handful of objections and break down the psychology behind them, what they actually mean, and how we pressure test to find out what the real objection is. We started last week with timing and budget objections. The timing isn't right, maybe next quarter. Now, the response was no problem at all. I can circle back then, just so we're on the same page. What's happening next quarter that will make this more relevant than it is today? We have to understand why we're asking that question. Why do we ask that question? What else could we ask? The timing isn't right, maybe next quarter. No problem, I'll circle back then. That is a big epic fail. We know we're not doing that. We need to pressure test this objection. And why do we need to pressure test it? We don't know whether we can take it on face value. The timing isn't right, maybe next quarter. That could mean a bunch of things. That could mean the timing isn't right, maybe next quarter. But what else could it mean? It could just be a fob off. I don't know who you are. I don't have any trust or faith in you. I've got a ton of things on my plate right now. Hey, look, timing's not right. Shout me next quarter. Just an easy way to get your phone, right? So we pressure test. No problem at all. I can circle back then just so we're on the same page. What's happening next quarter that will make this more relevant than it is today? If they come back with a very vague answer, well, yeah, I've got a bunch of priorities I'm dealing with right now, but yeah, it should be probably more relevant next quarter. You've learned nothing except that they are just trying to get you off the phone, and next quarter they'll probably tell you the same thing. We haven't got to the real objection. The real objection is probably somewhere in between. I haven't got time for this right now. This isn't a priority right now. I just don't know who the hell you are, and I don't trust you, and I'm busy. So that's why we ask them this. Pressure test the timing isn't right. If they give you a wishy-washy answer that makes no sense, look, I've been doing this for a while. From my experience, it seems actually more rather than timing, you've just got a ton of other priorities. This just isn't one of them. Is that fair for me to say? Yeah, that's fair. Great. Can I just ask, what is your top priority right now? Or what are your top 3 priorities right now? That's how you progress the conversation. There's no guarantee that they're going to tell you, but you've now figured out what the timing isn't right, maybe next quarter means. Yeah. Equally, hey, they might say, well, Neil, I'm actually dealing with X and Y right now, but why that links to Z and your business is because of this. So I need to get the CRM sorted first. But the aim is after we've got the CRM sorted and everything integrated, we are going to need some data, right? That's why it's going to be relevant. But right now we're getting everyone acclimatized to the new CRM shift. That is why I can't do that with you right now. Okay, great. Now you know that actually the timing isn't right. All right. It's really about pressure testing their initial objection. We don't have the budget allocated for this year. I completely get it. Budget cycles are a reality. Out of curiosity, if we could prove the ROI pays for itself in year, would it be worth shifting priorities? Straight to the point. We don't have budget allocated for this year. Who does, though? Who has budget allocated for a tool that they haven't inquired about? If you've reached out to them, they're not waiting for your call. They're not sitting around waiting. Hey, Neil's going to call me. Let me just allocate some budget to this. Yeah, we don't have budget allocated for this year. Again, sounds like a fob off, right? Pressure test it. Budget cycles are a reality. I get it. But if we could prove the ROI pays for itself in year, would it be worth shifting priorities? No, not just now because, we've got X, Y, and Z to deal with. It's just not. Okay, great. Now you know where you stand. There's just zero interest there. But the reason we ask this is actually really pressure testing, because if they say, no, it's not. Hey, look, sorry to call you out, but I've just said that the ROI will pay for itself in year. Why wouldn't that change things? Just to, I guess, clear up my confusion, because for me, it just would make sense, right? Try and have that type of curious conversation. No, instead of going, if they say, no, actually, that would make no difference whatsoever. Okay, no problem. That's fine. I'll, what time are your budgets allocated? Well, when are your budgets allocated? Next year, January or April. Okay, great. I'll give you a call then. You've not done your job. You ain't got anywhere, right? Pressure test them, push them. Listen, I've just given you an incentive to have a look at us, but you're shutting it down. And to me, it makes no sense. If the ROI pays for itself within a year, surely if we can prove that, it would be ludicrous for the business not to look at something like that, right? Again, pressure test to find out what the real objection is. I need to run this by the CFO before we can proceed. Got it. CFO approval is critical. If they were on this call right now, what do you think their biggest concern about the business case would be? Why do we ask this question? We ask this question to see if there really is interest from your champion. The person you're speaking to should be a champion. If they were on this call right now, what do you think their biggest concern about this business case would be? Oh, no, nothing. Everything looks good. Right, hold on. Everything looks good. Listen, most CFOs I speak to and deal with, they typically have a mandate not to spend money, especially in the market that we're in right now. What bit in particular do you think they would be buzzing about to sign this off when there's a clear shift in the SaaS space that CFOs are actually holding back? Pressure test them. Because if they say that, it's just a case of, okay, cool, I've got it now, but actually I don't even see the value in it. That's what I'm hearing, right? If they respond like that. Now, if they go, this looks great, I need to run this by the CFO before we can proceed. Got it. CFO approval is critical. If they're on the call right now, what do you think their biggest concern about business case would be? Well, Neil, you know what it's like with CFOs. It is going to be price, but I think if I can show the right ROI, we should be able to get this over the line. Okay. Now, this is a legit objection. Absolutely fine. Would it make sense to loop in the CFO? We can run through the business case, you and I together, get the approval from your CFO, and then you and I can complete the process just ourselves and let the CFO get on with everything else that they're doing right now. Does that sound doable? Yes, Neil, I think that's a great idea, actually. I'm going to leverage it. Or actually, Neil, it's probably the CFO doesn't jump on any meetings with anyone. Okay, no problem at all. Let me go through this business case with you line by line and showcase the ROI. So when you're showcasing it internally, I can help you get this over the line for you, because you clearly want this in the business, right? Because you can see the value and you can see how you can go from X to Y to Z over the next 12, 18 months. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, great. Let's sit down. Let's go through the business case. Have you got half an hour this afternoon? Because I really want to build out that ROI and equip you with everything you're going to need to get the AOK from the CFO internally. Yes, I do, Neil. No problem. Or actually, tomorrow might work better. Absolutely fine. Let's go through it. Pressure test. Are you getting the premise of today's podcast? Right. We're in a hiring freeze budget cut period. Of course you are. Totally understand. Things are tight everywhere. Since you can't add headcount, is there an appetite to see how automation could pick up the extra slack? Now, what else could we ask here? We're in a hiring freeze budget cut period. Okay, cool. You know what? You're not the first business I've spoken to this week that actually is saying that. I get it. The market's complex at the moment. Do you mind me asking, what's driving that freeze? What's driving that budget cut period? Yeah, dig down. Listen, the alternative is just get off the phone and, speak to them when they're not in a freeze period, or pressure test them. I'll just be really curious. Hey, you're not the first business I've spoken to this week. I spoke to XYZ business. They're in a budget cut freeze because of ABC reason. Is that the same for you? Yes, it is, Neil. Oh, no, it's not, Neil. Okay, progress the conversation. That's the whole point of it. Or You can go down this route. Totally understand that things are tighter everywhere. Since you can't add headcount, is there an appetite to see how automation could pick up the extra slack? Interesting. What do you mean, Neil? Let me show you. Yep. Guys, it's all about pressure testing. We want to pressure test these objections because most of these objections that you get will fall into one of 4 brackets: price, product, time, trust. And in fact, they all link back to trust, because if they trust in you, they'll trust that you're getting the right price for them. They'll trust it's the right product for them, and they will make time for you. All right. So just understand, objections on the surface, they may not be exactly what they sound like. They may not be telling you the real objection. We need to pressure test every objection through clever questioning. And I said to you at the start of this podcast, or earlier in this podcast, 50 free discovery questions. They are free. Download your copy. They will help you ask the right questions at the right time to the right people to understand exactly what's going on in the business, to understand what an objection means and what questions to ask when you get those objections. But always going with a curious mindset. If it doesn't make sense, don't get off that call until it makes sense. I'll say that again. If it doesn't make sense, don't get off that call until it makes sense. Because once you're off that call, it's gone. Done. You can't ring them again. Not for another 3 months or whatever you agreed when you got off the phone to them. Push them. You've got their time. Make sure you maximize it.